I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about dating someone with an avoidant attachment style. So, for many of you guys who have been on the channel for a while, we talk a lot about attachment and we talk a lot about attachment styles. Because when you start to understand attachment and attachment styles, you understand yourself better and you understand your partner better and what you need, what they need, and how to make the relationship work. And so Margaret has got an interesting article that she wants to share on dating someone with an avoidant attachment style because it can be really helpful to educate yourself on this.
It's very confusing. And this is a genuine attempt to try to provide us with some instructions on how to handle this person. So I'm going to run through the article quickly with you and then we can discuss. Nobody ever said that dating would be easy, but dating an avoidant is extremely difficult. It's distressing to have a date who avoids intimacy, invests little in relationship, or simply is never there for you emotionally.
Yes, it is a real challenge, especially if you have an anxious attachment style.
Oh God, yes. Psychologists and relationship experts now have a term for such traits, which is known as an avoidant attachment disorder. The idea of avoidant attachment immediately says, I want you, no, I don't want you. Okay? If you believe that this is true of the person you are dating, there are a few ways we can suggest that you cope.
Okay.
The notion of avoidant attachment disorder actually comes from the concept of some early research that was done by Bowlby himself, the attachment doctor, and a colleague of his. For most avoidant attachment people, there has been a history of abuse and neglect and caregivers who were unresponsive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Children, and here's the bottom line, children who are punished for relying on a caretaker will learn to avoid seeking help in the future. So if you went to your mommy, your daddy, or whoever else for help when you were little, or for just a hug or anything, and they told you to get lost on no uncertain terms, or you got in trouble for it, you may have learned right then, there, and on the spot that it's no use to ask other people for anything.
Yep.
Okay? But I mean, think of a little kid who's crying and upset and desperately needs some help from a caregiver who's told, you're too needy, you need too much, you want too much, go away, I'm busy. Can you imagine what that would feel like?
And especially when that's all you've known.
Right.
When you grow up and you're little, you don't have all these life experiences to know that this isn't normal or healthy.
Yeah.
You think, I'm supposed to love them, they're supposed to, why aren't they loving me? Why aren't they helping me?
Right.
They're so innocent, we're so innocent.
So you very quickly give up. And what you hope is that this child has a relative or friends in the neighborhood or anybody who acts differently, But it doesn't always happen, as you say. When they grow up to be adults, their lack of emotional attachment is exhibited in personal relationships. No surprise, right?
Which is incredible that we're just figuring this out.
I know, it really is. I think a lot of these people have been called borderlines because the people who are known as none of it's a pure diagnosis. The people who've been called borderlines are totally ambivalent about relationships. So they love you one minute and don't want any part of you the next, But the true avoidant personality doesn't have the part that loves you.
Yeah.
But how do you know if the person that you're dating has an avoidant attachment disorder? Since you are just dating and not yet in a committed relationship, it may be difficult to differentiate the disorder from somebody who's generally confident and self-possessed.
Yes, and we say this a lot.
Yeah?
Maybe they were watching our channel and wrote this article.
That could be. Yeah, but these people look, very self-contained and self-possessed. And,
Yes.
Yeah, and often are very successful professionally.
They look very confident.
And to that extent can be quite charming. But it's as long as you're at a distance.
Yeah.
All
The
right.
big thing, I think, is do they trust people?
Right.
And that tells you a lot real quick.
Well, for openers, they're saying ask about their family, friends, and other people in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And if there aren't any, be concerned.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, absolutely.
They are unlikely to have close relationships, even with their parents or childhood friends. Okay?
Yep.
These individuals do not invest much emotion in relationships and find it easy to move away from family, close friends, and partners. They also experience little distress when a relationship ends.
Yes.
So your date may be able to talk about an ex or a breakup without being the slightest bit upset. Okay?
Yep. That's how they present themselves.
Yep. Lack of emotional support. One of the surest signs that you are dating a person with avoidant attachment disorder is when he or she remains emotionally aloof. You may have to have an ugly fight with your mom over the phone, or your boss may have rejected your appeal for a raise, but your distress is unlikely to evoke any response from your partner. So you go to a partner and you say, I had a terrible fight with my mother, my boss just said these awful things to me, and your partner's liable to say, and that affects me how?
You
Right?
get over it.
Yeah, get over it, yeah.
That happened yesterday. Why would
Yeah.
you care about it today?
Exactly. That was very well done, Craig.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
How
that
do
was
I know what
very
they say,
good.
Margaret?
That was very good. The failure to support partners during stressful times is typical of those with avoidant attachment styles.
Yes.
That happened yesterday. Why are you still upset today? That's a good line.
Yeah.
Um,
Right there. Right on the mark.
yeah. Reluctance to share. The tendency to emotional aloofness among people with avoidant attachment disorder actually works on several levels. They are not only incapable of reaching out to partners, but find it difficult to share their own feelings, thoughts, and emotions with partners. Thus, your date may not be forthcoming about personal information.
Mm-hmm.
He or she may always be vague when you ask them about their work or where they live, or if you have a rough idea even about their finances. After several years, you're very lucky.
Yep. They just don't want to talk about stuff.
Nope, they don't want to talk about their stuff. They'll
Yeah.
talk about yours. They'll let you talk about yours. Your date may be unwilling to share with you even where they live. Even more significantly, he or she will be wary of making any future plans with you, and you may never find yourself figuring on more goals, their goals or dreams for the future. What do you want out of life? I don't know. Right?
I'm happy the way I am.
I'm happy the way I am. Why should I change anything?
Yeah, things are good.
Yeah. You're too good at it. Yeah.
Got a lot of experience.
Yes. Avoidance of physical intimacy. If you thought what your date could not express in words, he or she might be able to express with gestures of physical love and intimacy, you are in for a rude surprise. Apart from an inability to form emotional bonds, people with avoidant attachment tend to have difficulty with physical intimacy too.
However, I would like to point this out. In a relationship, I think they do. But when they're in the beginning stages of dating, they come on very strong.
Oh,
That's
yes.
how they hook you.
That's how they hook you.
With
Absolutely.
the sex. Right? And you think this woman is going to be great, or this guy is going to be so
That's
great.
right, yeah.
And then 6 months in, you're like, we haven't had sex in 3 months.
That's it. There you go.
We've been together 4 years and we haven't had sex in 2 of them.
Right?
You'd be surprised how many people will say they've been in a long-term
I hear it.
relationship and
I hear
haven't
it
had
too.
sex.
I hear it too.
Yeah.
They often avoid intimacy by using excuses such as long work hours, or may fantasize about other people during sex, which would keep them from getting too close to you.
Yep.
Signs that the person you are dating falls into this category could be reluctance to kiss, hug, caress, or hold hands. All right? But while they may have problems with physical gestures symbolizing bonding and attachment, sexual intercourse is not off the menu. Indeed, research has shown that adults with an avoidant attachment style are more accepting and likely to engage in casual sex rather than making sex part of a committed relationship.
See, what did I just say?
That's what you just said. And that is, again, it's distance. And they'd be much more comfortable with casual sex than with anybody they have a commitment to.
That's right. And in the beginning, they don't know if there's going to be a commitment, so they come on really strong.
They
The
come in
sex
really
is great.
strong. There's no risk. They're not attached to you.
That's right. Then when attachment comes in, they're like,
Oh, see ya, buddy.
no more sex for you.
Yep, see ya.
I talked to you today. We can't have sex and talk.
Oh no, we could be way too close by the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with that. Okay. Keep in mind there could be other reasons for a person avoiding physical intimacy. Sexual abuse in childhood or prior history of sexual dysfunction could also be causes.
Sure.
And I certainly am not going to rule out that sexual abuse is a likely part of the history of an avoidant. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, to get you to give up on your caretakers that early, it has to be pretty severe trauma. We're wired to respond to our caretakers. So things have to be pretty bad. And we're talking about giving up on other people somewhere between 1 and 2. So this is
Which
early,
is pretty crazy
early
if you think about it.
and severe. Okay? But by the time you're 2, you certainly know whether you're comforted when you're hurting, or whether you're cared for, or whether anybody's tuned into you. You certainly know that by then.
Yeah.
And if they're not, why bother? Right?
A lot of you guys that don't have kids will be thinking, I can't believe a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old would do that or know that, but believe me, they do. Okay? And they figure out real quick who's going to pick them up, who's going to love them,
That's right.
who's going to mistreat them and ignore them.
They know exactly. And you know, in really chaotic families, and unfortunately there are such things, think about living in poverty with a bunch of other families in the building, or you know, where you're crowded together and all that sort of thing. Kids can give up really early and really totally. And that's what it is to give up. Nobody has helped me. Why would I ever think anybody's ever going to? You know?
And why would they?
And why would they? Yeah.
Their whole experience on this planet has not been good.
Nope. Now, how to handle them. Take baby steps, no kidding. By now it should be clear to you that your date has an avoidant attachment style. But if you are willing to make things work with him or her, keep in mind that it could mean traveling a long and often lonely road. Okay? And I have said recently to 2 people I have who are dating avoidant people, have you really done a cost-benefit analysis on this? Mm-hmm. You know, is it worth the kind of constant hurt and rejection? And we're all plagued by logic and say, you know, gee, we had a really great couple of weeks and then I didn't hear from him for a month. The problem is you had a great couple of weeks and it was too close. Okay?
Yeah.
And people, it leaves partners flabbergasted. The best period we ever have, and suddenly she breaks up with me, you know?
Yeah.
One of the simplest ways you can encourage him or her to open up is giving him or her small, frequent compliments. Well, you can try it, but don't be surprised if they say, "What the heck are you talking about?" You know? Nobody else ever told me I was nice or good at cooking or, you know, whatever. Mm-hmm. Intimacy issues often manifest themselves in a refusal to accept that happiness is deserved. And that's, you said that a minute ago. These folks don't think they deserve to be happy or taken care of because that's what the world has told them. Okay? And at first, if you give them little compliments, they're going to think you're daft. All right?
Yep.
Why would anyone do that? So if your date starts to feel extremely happy in the relationship, he may try to sabotage it, or she. Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They will sabotage.
Yeah.
And they'll find a lot of different ways to do it, too.
Oh, ways you'd never have dreamed of.
Ways that leave you confused.
Yes. By giving him or her small, sincere compliments, you will make your partner feel happy frequently, which should make him or her more used to that feeling of being loved, and thus give love in return. But it could be a long battle while you try to give it and they desperately try not to take it. Right?
Yep.
And I'm sure in the middle of it you want to say, listen, I'm turning myself inside out to find you 1 or 2 good points, and you won't even let me do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Okay. Communicate. If you wish to keep dating a person who has avoidant attachment disorder, it is necessary for you to find some way to communicate effectively. Encourage your partner to talk about his or her fears or concerns. What do you mean, I'm fine? But you can try. You can encourage them to do that.
Not easy.
Articulating problems can often make them easier to work on, and talking about them with you will also help build intimacy, even though he or she seems afraid of it. So if they say they're worried that their barn is going to fall down, and all kinds of other awful things, you could start by helping them problem solve around something neutral like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything they're concerned about.
Yeah.
At the same time, don't hesitate to address your partner's fear of intimacy when it manifests itself. People with intimacy issues often start fights for no reason other than to sabotage the relationship.
Too much closeness.
Yep, we were doing too well. We had a really good time the last couple of weeks, so I picked a fight.
Yep.
When he or she does this, you need to confront it in order to force your date to think about their actions and consequences. If stress and fear are factors contributing to your partner's avoidance issues, do whatever you can to support and encourage him or her so that he or she is less likely to lean on avoidance in dealing with or neglecting situations. Now, if you've been with an avoidant for a while and you've had a good time for a couple of weeks, you can absolutely predict that they will start a fight to distance. And if you're feeling brave that week, you can say, I expect you to start a fight with me sometime in the next 3 days. Well, why in heaven's name are you saying that? Because that's what you do every time we have a good 2 weeks.
No, I don't. You do that.
Yeah, you start the fight. You start the fight. Yeah. Okay.
Last one, right?
Yep. Seek professional help. In serious cases of avoidant attachment, I can't think of a mild one. I really can't. It's
no,
a
but
serious business.
some are.
There's always a continuum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
It's a really good idea to enlist the help of a counselor, but you've got to find out that that's something that the counselor is familiar with
Yes.
and willing to talk about.
Which,
Yeah.
unfortunately, there's not a lot of therapists that are trained
No.
on attachment stuff yet. But in the next 5 to 10 years, I think so.
I think they will be. And children's therapists actually are better prepared to deal with this. But yeah, but always feel free to ask when you're looking for a therapist. I'm dating somebody with avoidant attachment, and they say, "What's that?" Move on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not easy to date an avoidant.
No?
And a lot of the tips here, Craig has been wonderful at coming up with what they'll say.
Yeah.
You know, I don't pick a fight, you do.
Yeah.
Right.
And, especially because most people that are going to be drawn to avoidance are anxiously attached people.
Are anxiously attached.
Because
people.
secure attached people generally get
Don't
turned
do it.
off by them
Right.
and
Right.
walk away quickly.
Right.
So,
And, yeah.
it's like that internal struggle that we have to fix ourselves or repair ourselves. We find the person that's like the opposite of us in an attempt to like repair things that have happened to us.
Yes.
And
And the other thing is, you would be very likely to have had the person would be very likely to have had an avoidant parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
When I've asked people about cost-benefit analyses, is, this person is avoidant, is it really worth it to you to have to work on this so long and hard? One of the things I've heard is, I feel like I'll be alone forever if I don't stay with this person. And I said, well, that's kind of mind reading the universe. You don't know that.
No.
So,
no, you don't.
But it's not easy, and take the decision seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of this stuff you can process in the workbooks, as covered through 1 through 10, all the different attachment styles and attachment issues and processing and looking for the qualities you want in a partner and how to deal with different things and communicate better. All of that you'll learn. So, I really encourage you guys to check that out. And it's a good way to keep yourself focused on something every day. And some of you will process and learn things easier by writing it down as opposed to just hearing it.
Yes, and you can also say, you always risk them withdrawing, but after a while, you can always say, it's not okay with me when something happens and I don't hear from you for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You're eventually going to have to learn to say some of those things.
Absolutely.
No matter the response you get, because how else are they going to know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good article.
All right.
So, of course, when you want to get our help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
Yeah, and if you would like to, feel free to sign up with me. I'll be happy to talk about your avoidant whatever.
Exactly. Just click on Margaret. Don't avoid Margaret.
No, don't avoid me.
Click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. Be sure to subscribe to support the channel. And we're podcasted now for those that are interested in podcasts. That's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon.